In this video, I want to speak to you about the psychology of truck driving and the effects it has on each driver, each individual driver, and it affects each driver differently. It just depends on the individual. It'll also go a long way to explain to you what you're seeing when you see all this YouTube drama. When you speak to drivers, it doesn't matter really how old they are or anything, but they usually use two terms to define a truck driver: old school or new breed. And actually they're one and the same, and I'm going to try to break this down for you as well as I can. In the description of this video, you're going to find multiple links. So I'm going to be putting about 4 or 5 links in here defining it. It's basically a description of what happens when a person spends too much time alone. And when I say alone, I do mean alone. I don't include social media as being a social person. Being social requires that you interact face-to-face with another human being. A lot of drivers, especially the ones we define as old school, have been out here 30, 40 years, and we remember how things were back in the day. You couldn't just leave the house and turn around and be back on Friday. You know, leave on Monday, you're back on Friday. A lot of us did. I did. And that there were also times where I would leave the house on April 1st and wouldn't get back until August the 1st. We spend a lot of time alone. We're just built for it. We prefer to be alone. And I think that's what divides us now when we speak of old school and new breed. The ones we define as new breed like to get home as often as possible. And there's not a thing wrong with that. What we have to remember that the old school is built to function alone. Our psychology is different. We prefer to be alone. But you have some that aren't quite built for it, and it affects them in the long run. They lose social skills. Those links are provided in the description. You can read the articles if you want to take the time. And we just don't play well with others. And you're seeing a lot of that on YouTube. It reflects on YouTube now. You're getting a lot of PTSD or post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't have to be a war vet to have PTSD. You just have to spend a lot of time in situations that are stressful to you and you don't know how to handle. And a lot of people with PTSD function best when there's chaos in their life. So if there's not any in their life, they'll create it. And that's exactly what you're seeing here with YouTube and the drama. A lot of these people are suffering from PTSD. They haven't had an official diagnosis or anything, but that's exactly what's going on. They are stirring chaos because that's where they function the best. Now back to our old school and our new breed. When I say that an old school driver prefers to be alone, that's not entirely accurate. The psychologically, they are built different. They can handle it. They don't get PTSD from it. Now, we have drivers out here that we call old school that suffer from PTSD, and you'll see them. They're angry all the time. They just don't play well with others at all. I mean, it's just like they get mad if you look at them sideways. You can spot those. But there are the people out here that can handle the alone time and walk away from it, just set it all down at the end of the day and become a social person. They can interact with their family. They can interact with friends. There's no chaos really going on in their life unless they're just trying to meet a schedule and get home for like an anniversary or a birthday party or something like that. That causes chaos because, you know, they may be old school, but they know what's important in their life and they try to handle. Moving forward, I'm going to have to tell you that this video is going to have to be broken into 2 segments in order to keep it under 5 minutes per video. But I want you to keep in mind that old school and new school has really nothing to do with how long you've been driving, but it's a psychology. And I want you to ask yourself, if you're considering coming into truck driving, or if you're already in truck driving, why do trucking companies cater to military vets so much and heavily? They like to tote, they're proud of it and everything. And I'm here to tell you that no, they are not proud of it. They see a pool of people to pull from that have spent extended times away from home and that follow orders. We're going to wrap this up here. Be sure to watch part 2 as I dive into the new breed and explain a little bit about what's going on there.